place in the Senate today. And there will be another opportunity, Republicans say, for Democratic senators who are a little uneasy with the strategy that their leaders have laid out to basically break ranks and vote with Republicans. They only need, again, 8 Democrats to vote yes. They had 2 Democrats and an independent who votes with Democrats vote yes last night. They think they might be able to peel off a handful more. So we'll see if that's accurate. If it isn't, then we sort of move into uncharted territory. Who does somebody blink? Do they actually get to work negotiating some kind of a deal? If the Senate were to pass a funding bill that's different than what the House already passed, then you'd have to bring the entire House back. Republicans intentionally kept the House adjourned this week so that would be more difficult. So, it does seem that this could drag on unless somebody decides to come to the negotiating table.
All right, Nancy, we'll be watching for your updates. Thank you so much. CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes.
Thank you.
6:23 now, and Sully, this is the route I take into work every morning. The surface streets making it to 167, and you got bad news for my neighbors right now.
Yeah, hey, I'm looking at Lakeland Hills way southeast. Are you familiar with that spot?
Every day.
Yeah, good. Not that we're telling everybody exactly where you live in your palatial gated estate, but it's down in that area. Yeah, the East Valley Highway is backed up basically, let's just say all the way from Lakeland Hills all the way down into Sumner. People are telling me they're going around the Lake Tapps Highway, going 20 miles an hour. West Valley Highway not moving. And this is all to avoid the lane restrictions on northbound 167. It's brutal, and that's going to be our life until they fix that thing. And so on the freeway itself, we are looking at about a 2.5 to 3 mile backup now and at least a 25-minute delay. Over an hour already from Puyallup up into Renton. We're also seeing heavy brake lights in Auburn and at the north end. So not exactly a lot of joy there. On the I-5 drive from Tacoma to Federal Way, that's running closer to a half an hour now, 15 minutes behind schedule. That's been the primary detour route that a lot of people who maybe normally take 167, they're ending up there. And then Federal Way to Seattle's running close to 50 minutes. Heavy brake lights by the West Seattle Bridge. We might have a new accident there. Down in Auburn, we do have a crash that's blocking a lane on eastbound 18. Right before you get to the Green River Bridge, we've got about a 2 mile backup behind it. Left lane is blocked there. Coming down from the north end, a relatively normal start to your Wednesday, 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, we do still have the threat of some thunderstorms for today. We'll see some sun breaks, but also showers and 68. Still a little bit windy, too. Scattered showers and sun breaks for tomorrow and Friday as well. Right now in Seattle, it's 56.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey with more on the local impact of the big government shutdown, and we'll also have the opening bell report.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Open enrollment for Medicare is coming up. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the consumer man here. Get organized early with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. You know what's stressful? A leaky roof. That's why Valentine Roofing offers a leak stop guarantee. They'll stop the leak for free until your brand new Valentine roof can be safely installed. No stress, no mess, no more buckets in your living room. And with 0 down financing for most projects, you can get the work done now and pay over time. So choose the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, extra mile service, and every new roof backed by a lifetime warranty. Call 206 Roofing and get your free estimate today. That's 206 Roofing.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Washington helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 206-529-1111 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 206-529-1111. Or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Take your business to the next level in 2025 with help from WaFd Bank. WaFd Bank's business accounts and cash flow tools get you paid in hours, not weeks, so you can grow your business and meet your goals. You need a best bank. Visit WaFdBank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:31. While the U.S. government is now officially shut down, midnight passed with no funding deal in place. Congress and the White House deadlocked, and neither side will budge.
As Democrats and Republicans point fingers at each other, it's everyday Americans who will feel the fallout. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here to break it all down. Luke?
And let's tackle the political debate first, get that out of the way. This is the first government shutdown since 2018, during Trump's first term. That shutdown lasted 34 days, through Christmas to the New Year. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats can keep the government open if they just sign a short-term resolution, just like both sides did during the Biden administration.
I think what's changed is President Trump is in the White House. That's what this is about. This is politics.
But Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer says the Republicans have not consulted with their side one time, and they want provisions to extend health care funding.
Americans are hurting with higher costs throughout the country, all done by the Republicans.
So what does this mean for all of us? Well, some 750,000 federal workers will be furloughed each day. Workers like the military, TSA agents, and air traffic controllers, they're all considered essential, so they will have to work, but without pay. If you're flying, SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper says get to the airport early. Treat it like during the holidays. The Postal Service is not affected. You're going to get your mail still every day. Social Security and Medicare benefits, they will still be sent out. But food banks, well, should be okay for now. But here's food bank expert Brian Green.
But if it starts to get to the point later in November when the benefits are also not coming in, where people are not receiving SNAP, et cetera, it will be overwhelming.
So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Charlie and Amanda, once federal workers do go back to work, they will get back pay. In the meantime, we're going to be reaching out to them to see, how people are doing and dealing with all this. But keep in mind as well, as we all go through this, both Congress and the president, will they still get paid during this shutdown?
Thanks for the update, Luke. It's 6:33 now. President Trump sending 200 National Guard troops to Portland tomorrow, and newly obtained texts show tensions already boiling over.
The Oregonian got messages between Trump and Governor Tina Kotek. Trump called Portland war-ravaged and an unmitigated disaster. Kotek accused him of breaking his promise to consult her first. Well, the deployment has sparked mockery online with jokes about kale shortages and Subarus instead of tanks. There are real concerns, though things could escalate when troops do arrive. Washington and Oregon leaders call the move unnecessary and dangerous. Trump says Portland's ICE facility faces nightly attacks.
Let's get a check on traffic now. And Sully, it's starting to rain in spots. It's kind of stormy. How's that treating the roads?
Well, we've had a couple other people kind of getting into it with each other a little bit. So we've got a new crash up in Marysville, southbound I-5, right there at the main Marysville exit, left-hand lane. And we're starting to back up, add about 10 more minutes onto that drive from Arlington down into Everett. Still working with this crash on eastbound 18. They're just out of Auburn, right before you get to the Green River Bridge. Left lane blocked there, and you're barely moving away from the Auburn area. Looks like what I thought was a crash up on the northbound I-5 right at the West Seattle Bridge was actually a stall in the southbound direction with a distraction slowdown. So Federal Way to Seattle still running at about 50 minutes, though, because of the heavy brake lights through South Center. Now to the northbound 167 issue that we're going to be dealing with for a while. We've got about an hour and 5-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. 25 minutes slower than it should be because of the lane restrictions we have in Pacific. Looking at Renton to Bellevue now at about 30 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle I already gave you. Everett to Seattle or Bellevue now up to 45 to 50. So we're definitely starting to see. Oh, and Tacoma to Federal Way is running a half an hour. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Head to T-Mobile Park for the postseason scrimmages. First one this afternoon, 2 p.m. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Tickets just $10. Get them at mariners.com/scrimmage.
Could be kind of a wild weather day. Scattered thunderstorms still a possibility. Otherwise, mix of showers and some sun breaks. 68 for today. Tomorrow and Friday, scattered showers with sun breaks and highs in the upper 60s. Right now, it's 56 in Seattle.
Time now for the opening bell report. A new set of tariffs is set to begin. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady reports.
We're expecting a 100% tariff on branded pharmaceuticals to go into effect. And so what this means is it would essentially cost more to bring those imported pharmaceuticals into the country. It does not include generic pharmaceuticals, though. And that's a really important point because the majority of medications and drugs that we as Americans buy are generic brands.
United States imported more than $230 billion in pharmaceuticals last year.
One country that has maintained lower tariffs is Mexico. CBS reporter Adrienne Bard is in Mexico City.
Mexico's strategy has been to negotiate a better deal on tariffs than most countries based on the fact that Mexico, the U.S., and Canada are in a treaty together. Goods not in that treaty include steel and aluminum. Mexico makes things with steel imported from the U.S. and then exports them back to the U.S., things like pipes, tubes, and rebar for construction.
Mexico's economy minister said his country is waiting for details of President Trump's announced 25% tariff on heavy vehicles, which hasn't been published or made official yet.
Two big names in Seattle real estate now facing a federal lawsuit. The Federal Trade Commission suing Redfin and Zillow. It's over a rental listings deal the companies made back in February. Zillow paid Redfin $100 million to be the exclusive provider of certain rental listings. The FTC says that violates antitrust laws. The lawsuit was filed yesterday in a federal court in Virginia. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, Redfin disagrees and believes the court will clear them.
It is the end of the road for Bartell drugstores. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas has the update.
Over the weekend, the last 3 Bartell locations in our state closed. Those were in Kirkland, Mill Creek, and Gig Harbor. Bartell's grew from one store in 1890 to more than 70 across the Puget Sound. Its 135-year run now officially over.
Looks like the Seattle Times is planning a move. The paper applied for a permit to fix up office space in South Lake Union. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, it's in the Alley 24 building across from REI. Documents show the Times is taking about 36,000 square feet on the 5th floor. No comment yet from the Times.
Seattle's minimum wage is going up by more than 50 cents.
Starting January 1st, it'll rise to $21.30 per hour. The Office of Labor Standards says the increase reflects inflation based on the Consumer Price Index for the Seattle-Tacoma-Bellevue area.
And that's KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch.
Bastyr University is staying put. Back in May, the school listed its Kenmore campus for sale. Officials said selling the 51-acre property would help secure Bastyr's future, but now they changed course. University says it's received $1.8 million in new donations. Puget Sound Business Journal reports more support is pledged over the next 5 years. That's enough to keep the campus where it is.
Trading has begun on Wall Street for the day, and the Dow is down just about 37 points at 46,360. S&P 500 down 14, and the NASDAQ down about 60 points.
KIRO 7 News live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local because where you live matters. No more, no now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
It's 6:39. Sully, what do you have coming up in traffic?
Well, our travel times have all jumped about 10 minutes in the last little bit, and we're going to work on what's happening on 167 coming up next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM. Powered by MyNorthwest.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Whatever temperatures this winter brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training and skills backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new heating system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. Visit BryantNorthwest.com for a dealer near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
It's 6:43, and Chris Sullivan is staying busy at the traffic desk.
And we have another crash to tell you about. This is number 3 or 4 so far this morning. This one's eastbound 512, trying to get away from Highway 7 in Parkland over towards South Hill. Left lane is blocked, and so we're definitely starting to see things back up there. So that is not going to be a good thing. And then you get down into the Puyallup area. It's not bad until you get just north of Sumner, and then you hit the lane restrictions, slow down up to the Pacific area. We've got about an hour and 5 minutes from Puyallup up into Renton. We also have brake lights out of Auburn and at the north end part of that drive, plus the East Valley Highway, West Valley Highway are jammed up as well. Eastbound Highway 18 continues to struggle from C Street all the way to the Green River Bridge. Left lane is blocked there right as you get up to the Black Diamond Road, so plan on some lengthy delays there getting out of Auburn and heading east. I-5 has taken some diversion. We also have a crash on the ramps from 705 to I-5 there in the CD lanes in Tacoma. We've got 30 minutes to get you up to Federal Way, is behind schedule by 10. And then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour. Renton to Bellevue, 35 minutes. So we've kind of jumped up pretty quickly there. Out of the north end, you need 10 extra minutes to get south into the Marysville area because of a crash right there at the main Marysville exit in the left-hand lane. And then we've got a normal hour drive from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. We're behind schedule as well on northbound I-5 today. Pretty heavy in Lacey up through DuPont. Give yourself 40 minutes to get up into Tacoma. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, yes, it is fall. It's going to be a little bit breezy again today. We do have a threat of a thunderstorm here and there. Otherwise, showers and sun breaks in 68. For tomorrow and Friday, upper 60s with a mix of showers and sun breaks. Right now, it's 56 in Seattle.
6:45 now. The star of The Bear will be hitting the big screen as the boss. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard.
In a new clip, actor Jeremy Allen White shows off his skills as he rocks out to one of Bruce Springsteen's biggest hits, Born to Run. Listen to this, guys.
Walk in the sun, but to let champs like us, baby, we were born to run. Slide champs like us, baby, we were born to run.
So what do you think?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. He like has the physicality of Springsteen, even though he doesn't look like him. Yeah. It was interesting to see. I'll probably check it out.
Okay, and the film, it chronicles the conception of Springsteen's 1982 album, Nebraska. So Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere hits theaters soon on October 24th.
Okay, Katrina, thank you. Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, we're going to check in with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. We'll talk about the meeting yesterday between President Trump and Secretary Hegseth as they met the military's admirals and generals. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
And now, Tales of Another Way. You've got your same old playlist, but another song about a breakup is just a downer. 2 minutes in your music app, and now you're groovin', man. Sometimes another way is the better way, like the new SR 509 Expressway, the alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. It's tolling now, and you can save $2 per toll with a Good to Go pass. Get a free sticker pass at goodtogo509.com.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, it's John Curley with some great news. If your home's heating or cooling is uneven, noisy, or expensive, listen up. The Quilt ductless heat pump system from Home Comfort Alliance is changing the game. It gives you room-by-room control and next-gen efficiency, so you're only heating where you need it. That means real comfort and real savings, and every Quilt system qualifies for max tax credits. Trusted for 50 years. Call the comfort people today at homecomfortalliance.com.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event starts this Saturday. Find incredible savings on select new homes through October 19th. Learn more and find a community near you at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
Well, yesterday, President Trump and his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, discussed their agenda with top U.S. generals and admirals.
A lot was said by both the president and the war secretary, Hegseth. Joining us now to break it all down is CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Jeff, I'm just curious what you thought overall of this meeting in the first place. It was quite a sight.
It was quite a sight, to say the least, and let's consider the fact that you had 800 senior general officers and their sergeant majors come from all around the world. This costs millions of dollars, to say the least. You bring them to one place, the SecDef is going to speak to them. That's the plan. A couple of days prior, the president announces he's going to show up and kind of upstage the Secretary of Defense, by the way, making that into a security nightmare. And this is from an administration that talks about rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse. And furthermore, of course, what was this all about? Well, it seemed to me that largely Mr. Hegseth wanted to talk about standards. And the fact that it was so tight-lipped prior to the meeting on what it was going to be about worries me that this is an extension of the recent action by the Pentagon to restrict the press access. Now all people, the press working in the building, have to sign a 14-page memorandum, which basically says the only thing they can publish is official documents they receive from the DOD newsroom and not interview anybody in the building. And this keeping us under wraps on what it was all about just seems to me an extension of that. Hegseth again talked about standards, talked about his view of the warrior ethos to those 800 general officers, each of which has at least 30 years of military service, multiple tours in combat. Several have been wounded. Many have lost friends. All probably have lost soldiers. And he's going to lecture them on the warrior ethos, having spent a couple of years in the National Guard. And I just wonder why, based on the content, that could have been conducted very nicely using a classified video teleconference in the process.
Among those standards you're talking about, Jeff, no beards and physical fitness is being prioritized, especially, he says, male-centric physical attributes. What do you make of that?
Well, again, physical fitness has always been, and he talked about, well, we're going to have physical tests twice a year. We've had physical tests twice a year. I can tell you for the last 50 years, because I began doing them in 1968, twice a year. We've had height and weight standards. There are some questions on enforcing those, and he made the comment about senior officers meeting those particular standards. That would seem only fair. But that being said, obviously war today is an intellectual exercise more than a physical exercise, particularly for a senior officer. And he or she is not going to be dragging a soldier across the battlefield. If they are wounded, they're in a really difficult spot. That's unusual, but their experience, their knowledge, their intellect is key and essential to our continued success on the battlefield. And then second of all, it seemed to me at least he singled out women as saying, well, if you can't meet the standard that we're going to establish, then you can't serve. I think that'll have a deleterious effect, frankly, on female recruiting, which make up about 18% of the force. I think it'll have a deleterious effect on, frankly, female retention. I've talked to a number of mid-level female officers, all of whom tell me that as soon as they hit 20 years and they can retire, they will, or as soon as they fulfill their ROTC or military academy commitment, they're going to depart the military. And I also fear this may be discouraging to some degree in how it was about the beards and stuff, how that may affect recruiting of particularly African Americans who sometimes suffer from particular facial problem that's unique to African Americans.
Talking with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Jeff, there was a lot of talk about how the military has become too woke. Is that really an issue?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, and I base that on 50 years of experience. Could that pendulum move a bit more back? Yes, there's always room for that. Could it move back in an extreme way? I don't really think so. And I come back to this, I know the Pentagon, Mr. Hegseth in particular, doesn't like this, but I base it on my experience. Diversity is our strength. 18% of our force are women. The warfare today is much more intellectual. I need people that are cyber warriors every bit as I need infantrymen. And as a consequence, we need to draw from the strength of America, which has always been that broad band of American citizens that we have out there. And I even worry about such things as he talks about releasing drill sergeants to actually put their hand on trainees and be a lot rougher with trainees. Yeah, do we want to handle these folks with kid gloves and make that transition to the military? No. So on the other hand, you got to be careful because you can move the other direction. And I can tell you, as a young guy who went through basic training many, many years ago, it was very physical to the point that some drill sergeants, unquestionably, were downright bullying to young recruits, and particularly a concern now that you have a force that's 18% female. What does that mean for male drill instructors and female recruits?
CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Wish we had more time this morning, Jeff. Thanks as always.
Take care.
Appreciate it. We need to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes, and here's Sully.
And we are pushing 20-minute delays just about everywhere now. I'm going to start up in Marysville, where we have about a 4-mile backup and a 20-minute delay to get you down into the Marysville, Everett area. From Arlington to Everett, we're getting closer to 40 minutes now because of this crash at 528, which is blocking the left lane. Once you get through that, you're going to have a pretty standard hour and 5-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Northbound I-5 is struggling through the Tacoma area. We have a crash there in the CD lane. Plus, we have just the extra volume from 167. So you've got about a 30-minute trip from Tacoma to Federal Way and then an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Northbound 167 struggling again today through the lane restrictions. Hour and 10-minute trip from Puyallup up to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is now up to 40 minutes. Eastbound 512 struggling getting through Parkland. We got a crash near Waller Road in the left-hand lane. So no joy today. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 kiosks, and more. EmeraldQueen.com.
Scattered showers today, heavy at times and windy. We'll have highs in the mid-60s. Just regular showers tomorrow with highs again in the mid-60s. It is 54 right now in Seattle.
Coming up, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna explains the lawsuit being filed against the Trump administration by Oregon's AG. That's next.
If you've been considering surgery or even joint replacement, let me suggest something. Hi, it's Dave Ross. I've now talked to over 200 patients of Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, so many of whom have told me about the life-changing results, and those are their words, after treatment at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. These are people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone-on-bone, and they tell me that they're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, walking up and down stairs, playing with the kids, the grandkids, and doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Mark Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, and because they're your own stem cells, they can help regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Also, he's one of the few doing it the right way. So listen to his patients, and remember, whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before you choose surgery, first see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Hey, football fans, Steve Rabel here. You know what makes Washington State truly special? It's the people, the everyday champions who serve, care, and connect. This fall, your local credit union, WSECU, is proud to celebrate 4 of these inspiring individuals as part of Washington's Community Champions. Serving Washington since 1957, WSECU is the only credit union named a Forbes Best Credit Union 5 years in a row. Now it's your turn to get in the game. Nominate your hero today at mynorthwest.com/champion.
You're miracle workers.
Don't know about that.
My drain was clogged.
Right.
You came in a jiffy.
And got right to work?
Now it's clear.
It's what we do.
Like I said, you're miracle workers.
Actually, we're plumbers.
Apollo plumbers.
You want to see some real miracle workers?
Huh?
Just take a look at Seattle Children's.
Sure.
They're all hope, care, and cure.
All true.
And together, we can help them.
How so?
Your service fee?
Yeah?
Apollo Plumbing is donating it.
To benefit Seattle Children's Hospital.
We're donating all our service fees.
All month.
To help Seattle Children's provide outstanding care and support research.
And ensure no child in need is ever turned away.
That's the goal.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love the work they do at Seattle Children's.
So I call, you come.
Apollo donates your service fee. All our service fees.
All month?
All the way to $20,000.
That's so Apollo Plumbing.
Always ready, right now.
You really are miracle workers.
Aren't we all?
Maybe so.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. You know what's stressful? A leaky roof, because you typically don't find out it's leaking until water makes its way through the insulation. The drywall in your ceiling starts swelling up, sags and drips. Then you're freaked out, wondering if there's mold in your house. I get it. That's why I get Valentine Roofing. Valentine has a leak stop guarantee. They'll stop the leak in your old roof for free until your brand new Valentine roof can be safely installed. Because Valentine doesn't just replace roofs, they protect homes. And they start protecting yours the moment you call. No stress, no mess, no more buckets in your living room. The wet weather is coming, so if you need to take advantage of that free roof inspection, I encourage you to call and get the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, extra mile service, and every new roof backed by a lifetime warranty. And now with zero down financing for most projects, you can get the work done now and pay over time. Stop the leaks before they start. Call 206 Roofing and get your free estimate today. That's 206 Roofing.
Whatever temperatures this winter brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training and skills, backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new heating system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. Visit BryantNorthwest.com for a dealer near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Hey, it's Brock Hewitt here, and you got to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It could save you a lot of money and get your family better coverage. First Mark has saved my family thousands of dollars every year. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The federal government is shut down today after a Republican funding bill failed in the Senate. Arizona Democrat Mark Kelly is explaining.
Now, we could fix this today. This is pretty easy to do. All it takes is one vote. We want to bring down the cost of health care for Americans.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers could be furloughed. Others deemed essential have to show up at their jobs. Vice President J.D. Vance tells CBS Mornings that could pose problems for travelers.
There are people, of course, who are flying today should know that if their flight is delayed, I hope it's not, but it may have something to do with the fact that our TSA agents and our air traffic controllers are no longer getting paid.
They will get paid when the shutdown is over. As for other federal employees,
I'm Michael Wallace. The shutdown does not affect the Postal Service, so you will still get your mail. Social Security and Medicare benefits will still be paid out. Essential workers like military members will continue to work, but without pay. National parks will remain partially open, but buildings and sites that require staffing, like Smithsonian museums or the Washington Monument, will be closed. Members of Congress still get paid.
In New York City,
Get out the
elevator!
video footage captures two photojournalists being slammed to the ground by masked ICE agents in the hall of an immigration court and falling into a third. A third held on the floor for half an hour before they were taken to an ambulance and a neck brace. City Comptroller Brad Lander.
There is a system for holding law enforcement accountable when law enforcement from any agency, break the rules, use excessive force, act outside the law.
A couple of hurricanes are taking a toll along parts of the North Carolina coast.
5 more unoccupied houses in the town of Buxton at the southern end of North Carolina's Outer Banks collapsed into the ocean in rough surf caused by hurricanes Umberto and Imelda, swirling well offshore. Heather Jeanette is a local.
It's awful. Something that I think we all knew we might see one day, but there was a big part of us that hoped it wouldn't actually happen.
17 houses have fallen into the ocean on the Outer Banks since 2020. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
New study finds children and teenagers are twice as likely to develop long COVID after a second coronavirus infection. As kids only infected once. Researcher Dr. Alexander Charney.
Symptoms involving the brain to symptoms involving the heart, symptoms involving the lungs.
He says most had not been vaccinated. Previous research has shown vaccines significantly reduce COVID risk. The study in Lancet Infectious Diseases. The Dow is down 110 points. NASDAQ off 101. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's 7:03. We check in with Sully with traffic on the threes.
All right, here we go. Groundhog Day. For those of you stuck on 167, we've got a 25 to 30-minute delay from Puyallup to Renton, hour and 15-minute trip because of the brake lights up through that lane of reduction as we work through that bridge strike. It's going to be with us. After you get through that, it's a 25-minute drive out of Auburn itself, and then you've got 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. It is not pleasant. Tacoma to Federal Way has added a lot of volume. We're at 35 minutes there as well, plus you've got an hour, 10-minute drive from Federal Way to Seattle. Out of the north end, we continue to struggle. 25 minutes on southbound I-5 behind schedule from Arlington to Everett. The left lane remains blocked at the main Marysville exit at Highway 528 there. Big time delays for you guys. Also seeing brake lights on eastbound 18 through Auburn up to the Green River Bridge because of the left lane being blocked there. We have hour and 5-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, and we're still working with a crash in Parkland near Waller Road. Eastbound 512, left lane is blocked. So not a good way to start. This report brought to you by the KIRO Radio Rundown. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476. Subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite shows right to your inbox.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:04. The U.S. government is officially shut down. Midnight came and went with no funding deal as Congress and the White House failed to break the deadlock.
Now, with both sides blaming each other, the rest of us are left to feel the fallout. And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with details.
Yeah, we are talking about 750,000 federal workers who will be furloughed each and every day. However, for essential workers like the military, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, they have to go to work and without pay. So if you're flying, here's some advice from SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper.
Our big reminder for travelers is to just think of it like a busy time period as you're coming to the airport, which is think of those regular things to get here early.
As for our military communities, think about this. There are close to 100,000 active duty military and reservists across our state. If they're not getting paid, what happens then to all the local businesses that support those communities? CBS financial expert Jill Schlesinger.
I can't put a finer point on this, that the
personal financial lives of these people has been upended.
So right now, Republicans need 60 votes in the Senate to pass a short-term resolution to keep the government open for now, but Democrats are demanding provisions to extend health care funding before they agree to that. The Postal Service is not affected. You're going to get your mail each and every day. Social Security and Medicare benefits, they will also be sent out, no problem. But federal funding for food programs could be affected if this shutdown lasts more than a month. Charlie and Manda, so who do we blame? Everyone wants to blame someone for things like this, but consider this. Both a New York Times poll and a Marist University poll show most people blame both Republicans and Democrats equally for this. Also, if there's any good news in any of this, once federal workers go back to work, they will get back pay.
Luke, thanks for the update. And the government shutdown comes down to one fight: healthcare subsidies.
Democrats are demanding Congress extend healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act before they will vote for any spending bill. Those subsidies help 22 million Americans, including thousands who get coverage through Washington's Apple Health program. Washington U.S. Senator Patty Murray posted this on X.
Donald Trump can lie. J.D. Vance can lie. But people are still going to get those letters in the mail telling them how much more their health insurance will cost next year.
Republicans say Democrats are holding the government hostage. They argue their spending bill is clean and shouldn't need any health care provisions attached. Until both sides budge, federal workers across Western Washington and the rest of the country remain furloughed or working without pay.
The husband of congressional candidate Shama Sawant faces assault charges after allegedly shoving a staffer at a Renton town hall. Como TV obtained police video showing Calvin Priest forcing his way into Congressman Adam Smith's event in August. The 54-year-old allegedly pushed past a 22-year-old staffer who tried to block him and other protesters. The woman showed police significant bruising on her arm. Congressman Smith told Como the incident traumatized his staffer, saying public servants shouldn't face screaming and physical confrontations. Now, Priest cut a deal with prosecutors. Charges will be dropped if he stays out of trouble and likely completes community service. If he violates the agreement, a judge can convict him based on the police report alone. Como reached out to Priest and Sawant's campaign, got no response. Sawant was not at the event and is not accused of wrongdoing.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
I think even Charlie's headbanging a little bit right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Because what I do is we have the monitor in the corner of the room, and it's what our YouTube live feed looks like. And David, bless him. I mean, he is the best headbanger of them all. I mean, you're putting Sully to shame.
Thanks, man.
I'm feeling it. I am feeling it.
That was a compliment.
Yeah.
It is Wednesday, October 1st. Thanks for being with us. It's now 7:08.
We do, of course, have producer David here in the studio. Sully is checking the roads on the threes. Katrina, she's a serious one. She's not banging her head out at the news desk. At least I don't think so. And Nick Kreisha is running the board and choosing the music this morning.
Coming up this hour of the show, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna will break down the lawsuit being filed by Oregon leaders against the Trump administration after the White House authorized National Guard troops in Portland.
And in today's commentary at 7:35, enough of these bullies masked as protesters. We'll talk about it then.
We are now seeing some of the texts exchanged between Oregon's governor and President Trump after the order of the National Guard into Portland.
Through a public records request, the Oregonian newspaper received the Sunday text exchange between President Trump's assistant, Natalie Harp, and Oregon Governor Tina Kotek. In those texts, Harp quotes the president. In one message, he tells Kotek that Portland's ICE facility is being attacked nightly. "We can't have this," he says. Later, she texts back, "I just received your notice to mobilize the Oregon National Guard outside of my control. I believe this is unlawful and unwarranted. You broke your promise to speak with me before taking further action against Portland." Harp wrote back, again, quoting the president, "If you get your state in order, we don't come in. But everyone knows that Portland has been an unmitigated disaster for years. I won't let that happen in America." Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A teenager in central Washington is in custody after threatening violence at a local high school. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
On September 19th, the FBI alerted Kennewick police about a student making threats online. Detectives moved quickly, tracking down the 14-year-old within 24 hours. A search warrant turned up what they call substantial evidence that he was planning a mass shooting.
It was a map of Kamiakin High School with identified classrooms where he felt he was going to commit this school shooting.
The teen is now in the Benton County Juvenile Justice Center facing felony charges, including attempted assault and threats to bomb or damage property.
Just a heads up for late night drivers in Parkland. Get ready for delays. Crews are going to be working on power lines along Highway 512 near Portland Avenue. The State Department of Transportation says the work starts at midnight tomorrow. It'll wrap up by 4 in the morning Friday.
Well, the Mariners get a sneak peek of a potential playoff opponent.
It's a 2-out RBI single for Spencer Torkelson, and Detroit leads 1-0.
Detroit went on to beat the Cleveland Guardians 2-1. The winner of that series comes to Seattle this Saturday for Game 1 of the American League Division Series.
If you can't wait that long, the Mariners are actually taking the field at T-Mobile Park this afternoon. Not a real game. They're holding a 2 o'clock scrimmage to stay sharp for Saturday's playoff opener. Seattle clinched the number 2 seed, home field advantage for the division series, but that comes with a 5-day layoff that could leave players a little rusty. So the team's holding scrimmages today and tomorrow. Fans are invited. Manager Jerry DiPoto says they'll keep score, play music, and try to maintain game intensity. Gates open at 1 o'clock for today's scrimmage. Tickets are only $10, and money goes to charity.
All right. I don't know if I can. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Should I do it?
It sure would be fun.
Yeah.
Aren't you asleep by then?
No, I go to bed at 6:30. Thank you very much, David. It's 7:12, and we check weather now, brought to us by State Roofing and Exteriors. You go to bed at 6:30, don't you, Nick?
Oh, I need to, but no. Heck no. No, my kids are too young for that. I do go to bed before my kids do, but nope, not till probably maybe 7:30 or 8 if I'm lucky.
Oh, that's late.
It's very late. This morning, we have a lot of rain out there, but I'll tell you, the good thing is the heavy rain we have over the Central Sound is pushing into the Cascades right now, so we're going to get a bit of a lull. Still, you will see showers, and they could be heavy at times, off and on all day, with some sun breaks, yes, but definitely a lull in between, and a little breezy at times, and there could be some isolated thunderstorms with temperatures getting easily into the mid and upper 60s. So right now, heavy rains around, say, like Tacoma into Seattle pushing east, but everybody could see pockets of heavy downpours at times today. But don't forget, you will have lulls in between. So you might be like, well, what's going on here? I see plenty of sun, then all of a sudden showers roll in from the southwest. Tomorrow, same idea, although I don't think it will be quite as convective. Today, that threat for thunder is minimal, but it's even smaller tomorrow. Both days in the upper 60s, maybe a late day shower or two on Friday and early Saturday, and that's it. And then the rest of your weekend, whatever time the games end up starting, we're going to be in good shape weather-wise. Roofs will be open. Well, the roof will be open because I guess only one of them has it. And then we're going to find nice dry weather to start next week in the upper 60s and lower 70s.
Right now, we're seeing showers from Tacoma stretching up to Shoreline on the I-5 corridor. It's 53 at 7:13.
And time for traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the 3s. Chris Sullivan is watching the mess.
And you are behind schedule before you walk out your front door. We have delays from 15 minutes up to 30 minutes based on where you're going. I'm going to start with a 30-minute delay, and that's on southbound I-5 trying to get from Arlington down into Everett. That drive 45 minutes because the left lane is blocked right at the main Marysville exit at 528, and we are backed up significantly. Once you get through that, you're going to be greeted with an hour and 15-minute drive from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, so a grind. Northbound I-5, we have a new crash to tell you about. This one's number 5 of the morning by my count, right there before you get to 200th as you work your way into SeaTac. Right lane is blocked. Federal Way to Seattle, hour and 20 minutes. That's a 20-minute delay. 40 of those minutes up to South Center. Puyallup to Renton, a 30-minute delay because of the lane restriction. Hour and 15-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. 30 out of Auburn. And then you have Renton to Bellevue at 40 minutes. The diversion over to I-5, 35 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way. That's plus 15. And we also have 2 crashes to tell you about. Eastbound 18 in Auburn, left lane blocked before the Green River Bridge, and eastbound 512 in Parkland at Waller Road, the left lane is blocked. So it's ugly. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube. Click subscribe and get fresh video content daily.
A winner is named in the Fat Bear contest. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gashard.
The Fat Bear winner of 2025 is...
It's Chump.
Chunk is estimated to be more than 400 pounds and received more than 96,000 votes. Chunk takes the top spot after 2 years as the runner-up. Mike Fitz, the founder of Fat Bear Week, says this.
Chunk used his determination and adaptability to persevere through injury.
Imagine that injury, a broken jaw. But it did not stop him from eating a year's worth of food within 5 to 6 months in order to survive for hibernation.
You could say Chunk has a lot of junk in his
Oh,
trunk.
Manda.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just curious. Is Chunk eligible for NIL in college sports?
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to think about
Way
it,
to
okay?
push through the
Sell
injury.
some T-shirts.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Katrina. 7:16.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
All over the weekend, President Trump authorized the deployment of National Guard troops to the city of Portland to protect ICE agents in the city from what the president called Antifa and other domestic terrorists.
We have, of course, been following this story closely as those troops are scheduled to arrive in Portland tomorrow. Meanwhile, the state of Oregon and the city of Portland filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration in response to the impending National Guard troops arriving in the city.
Lots to talk about here. Joining us now, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna once again. Nice to have you with us. What exactly is this lawsuit claiming, Rob?
Well, the lawsuit is claiming that the president doesn't have the authority to mobilize Oregon National Guard troops and send them into Portland. So he's working with, or his government, his administration is working with the Oregon National Guard to put 200 National Guard troops into Portland around the ICE facility there, which is, about 2 miles from downtown. And similarly, they sent about 100 troops into Memphis. And this all follows on what happened in L.A., which is a much larger number of National Guard troops, and then in Washington, D.C. So in California, a federal judge has already ruled that at least in his district in California, Trump lacks the legal authority to send federal troops in for crime-fighting purposes. And Oregon is, suing on the same theory, basically.
Could President Trump essentially say, so what, even if a judge were to turn this down, say, no, you can't send the troops there?
I suppose so. This brings us back to a question we've talked about before, which is, what do you do? What does anyone do if the president defies a court order? We haven't come to that point yet, so we just don't know. There's a lot of symbolism here. I mean, 200 troops isn't very many. 100 in Memphis, even fewer. It isn't clear what the president thinks he's accomplishing here, except maybe he wants a crime-fighting role and he thinks this is the way to get it. In his first term, there were riots and some neighborhoods were burned and business districts were burned in some cities, and he didn't take this step. I don't, whether he had the legal authority to do so or not is another question, but I've heard speculation that he regrets that he didn't take stronger action at that time. And even though the circumstances in Portland, Memphis, Washington, D.C., L.A. are quite different, maybe he's deciding this time he wants to show that he's really strong on these issues.
What does the city of Portland have to prove in order for this to be successful?
They have to prove that the president, on the one hand, doesn't have the authority to federalize Oregon National Guard troops for this law enforcement purpose. Federalizing National Guard troops is what we're used to in the context of a war. So many National Guard units were federalized and deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. My dad was in a National Guard unit in the early 1950s, and he was federalized and mobilized and sent to Korea to fight on the front lines. That's what we expect. That's the normal course with National Guard troops. But federalizing them and sending them into for law enforcement purposes isn't clearly authorized by law. In fact, it may violate a law called the Posse Comitatus Act, which expressly prohibits the use of troops for law enforcement purposes.
This presumably is going to be heard in a courtroom in the 9th District. Will that preview any judgment in your estimation, Rob?
Well, you'll be able to tell. This will be in the district court in Oregon. You'll be able to hear the judge's questions and the arguments on both sides. And sometimes the way a judge asks questions or makes statements, you get a clue to how they're going to rule. The fact that Judge Charles Breyer in Southern California already ruled against the administration on this question might also be a preview.
Rob, while we have you, we've spoken about this before. I did a commentary about it yesterday. Want to get your analysis again on over $500 million of state money being paid out in legal settlements. We just had this case this morning. A woman who suffered horrible abuse was awarded $9 million. This
is a pattern. It's a trend that's been growing since before I took office as AG in 2005. And when I left office, we had a couple of years where the payouts were $60 million in a year, $80 million in a year, and now we're looking at years in which you might have $500 million in judgments and settlements. It's way out of proportion to what any other state experiences. I haven't analyzed those numbers, compared them to other states, but I did that when I was AG, and our analysis showed that we were, at that time, routinely paying out 6 times more per year than the state of Massachusetts, which is a comparably sized state, 10 times more than Oregon, a somewhat smaller state. But you get a sense then that even then, our rules were so liberal and generous for plaintiffs that we were way more exposed. And keep in mind, by the way, that these rules don't just expose state government, they also expose local governments to much larger judgments and more frequent lawsuits and settlements and judgments. So this is costing local governments a lot of money as well.
We're just about out of time, but how should the state be addressing this?
What I recommended in 2006 still stands. They being the state legislature with the governor's support, ought to be looking at the legal frameworks that other states have in mind. And they don't have to adopt Texas or Kansas rules here. I argued they could adopt a system similar to Massachusetts or California that has reasonable statutes of limitations, that includes reasonable caps on damages, and other rules that sort of balance the equation. It is really unbalanced right now. This is not to say, as you pointed out in your commentary, Charlie, that people who are harmed shouldn't be compensated. They should. The state should be held accountable. But this is way out of bounds in terms of total amounts being paid out, and other states simply don't do that. And it's costing us a fortune. It's money that isn't available to provide services to kids and elderly adults and so forth.
Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna with some analysis this morning, and Rob said 2006, and I thought, oh, that's not too long ago. That was 19 years ago. Thanks a lot, Rob.
We were all younger then.
Time flies.
Okay, it's 7:23 here on Seattle's Morning News.
It's time to check traffic once again. We do that every 10 minutes for you, and here's Sully.
Hey, you didn't think it could get any worse, but it did. Northbound I-5, the crash we had near 200th, had the right lane blocked. Now it has 2 right lanes blocked, and so we are barely moving out of the Federal Way area. It's up to about an hour and a half from Federal Way to Seattle, so a 30-minute delay there, with 45 to 50 of those minutes just getting you up into South Center. Out of the north end, we're still working with about a 35-minute delay. It's 50 minutes from Arlington to Everett. 5.5-mile backup getting through Tulalip into Marysville. The left lane remains blocked at 528. And then you've got about an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. It is a slog out there through the weather that we have. Coming up from the Valley Freeway, hour and 15 from Puyallup to Renton. That's also plus 30 because of the lane restrictions there at the bridge that was knocked out last week. Only the right lane getting by. Renton to Bellevue, 40 minutes, 35 from Tacoma to Federal Way. That's taking a lot of diversion there. That's 15 minutes extra. And 2 other crashes to tell you about. One of them on eastbound 18. If you're getting out of Auburn and working your way that direction, we've got a crash in the left lane before the Green River Bridge. And we're still working with this crash in Parkland on eastbound 512. Left lane is blocked near Waller Road. So, yeah, we're not good out there, as Nick Allard would say. This report brought to you by Seattle Mariners. Head to the T-Mobile Park for the postseason scrimmages. First one this afternoon, 2 p.m., then tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Tickets just $10. Get them at mariners.com/scrimmage.
And looking at the forecast, the roof will be closed for that scrimmage today. We're expecting showers, maybe even thunder showers today. Highs in the upper 60s. Just plain old showers tomorrow, not quite as wet and highs will also be in the upper 60s. Right now, it's raining and 53 in Seattle.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more on the local impact of the government shutdown. And Charlie, you have a commentary.
Yeah, the anti-ICE protesters in Portland are not doing themselves any favors. That commentary coming up at 7:35.
Has it been hot in your house this summer? Maybe worried about the cold coming in this fall and into the winter? Might be because your insulation's just not up to snuff. That was my problem, Mike Salk here, and that's why I called Crawl Pros. They came out, they did a corner-to-corner inspection of my crawl space and attic, and they fixed that problem once and for all. If your home has any damaged insulation or no insulation in the attic or crawl space, you're bleeding money every month to heat and cool your home, but you don't have to. And even better, if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%, but you gotta act now. Many of these rebates are ending at the end of this year, including the federal incentives. Let Crawl Pros come out and properly insulate your home before the cooler fall weather comes in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Fall is here, school is back in full swing, but can your bank keep up with your schedule? Well, WaFd Bank can, with free checking. Live your life and stick to your agenda without having to worry about minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees. WaFd has thousands of fee-free ATMs and more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states. Plus, WaFd Bank offers useful tools like voice-activated banking, so you can check your balance and make transfers between your WaFd accounts when your hands are full. And if you're like me, that's all the time. You'll also have access to free tools like online and mobile banking, bill pay, person-to-person payments with Zelle, plus mobile check deposit and full control over your debit cards to turn them on and off just in case they get misplaced. And when you open your account, choose from some great-looking debit cards to spend in style, including Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves cards. So visit wafedbank.com to open your account today and find out why they were awarded Best Bank by Newsweek 3 years in a row. With Wafed Bank, you are in control. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 7:30. Well, the U.S. government is now officially shut down. Midnight passed with no funding deal in place. Congress and the White House deadlocked, and neither side will budge.
Democrats and Republicans are pointing fingers at each other, but it's everyday Americans who will feel this fallout. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here to break it all down.
Yeah, Charlie, let's start, though, with that political finger pointing for a moment. This is the first government shutdown since 2018 during Trump's first term. That shutdown lasted some 34 days through Christmas. Remember that? Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats can keep the government open if they just sign a short-term resolution, but they won't be bullied, he says.
We are not going to be held hostage for over $1 trillion in new spending on a continuing resolution.
Meanwhile, Democrats want provisions to extend health care funding before they sign anything. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer says Republicans refuse to work in any kind of bipartisan way.
There was no input from Democrats. Not a single line in their bill had input from Democrats. They never consulted us. Thune didn't consult me.
All right, so let's talk about the fallout now for you and me. Some 750,000 federal workers are going to be furloughed each and every day. However, essential workers like the military, TSA agents, and air traffic controllers, they have to go to work, but without pay. So if you're flying, SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper says get to the airport early. The Postal Service is not affected, so you're still going to get your mail, and Social Security and Medicare benefits are still going to be sent out. But for our military, if they're not getting paid, we're talking about 100,000 or so reservists in active duty across our state. Well, Army veterans like Alonzo Sermons are worried what that means for communities around military bases like JBLM.
These are real things in the lives of people. You have this affecting their finances. It really increases anxiety.
So a lot of people in a lot of different areas and jobs and communities affected in ways maybe we don't think about, Charlie and Manda. Once federal workers go back to work, they will get back pay. But keep in mind this, everyone listening, both Congress pointing the fingers and the president, they all still get paid during this period of time with the shutdown.
Okay, Luke, thank you for the update. 7:32 now. Later tonight, drivers near Snoqualmie will see another detour at the Highway 18 and I-90 interchange.
WashDOT says this project will wrap up sometime this fall. The focus now is on the on-ramp to eastbound 90 from Highway 18 and Snoqualmie Parkway. There's still a lot of work to be done, including guardrail and ramp metering installations, prep work for the final configuration, and landscaping. The on-ramp will shut down between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. tonight and Thursday night. Friday night at 9 p.m., the on-ramp will close through the weekend, reopening by 5 a.m. Monday. Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
One more note before our traffic. Late night drivers in Parkland get ready for delays. Crews going to be working on power lines along Highway 512 near Portland Avenue. State Department of Transportation says the work will start midnight tomorrow and should wrap up by 4 in the morning on Friday.
7:33 now. Traffic on the threes. Guys, it's raining. It's October. You gotta slow down.
And we also have got to stop having overhyped things run into bridges. It's not a today issue, but it is a today issue, if you know what I mean. We've got multiple freeway commutes that are 30 minutes behind schedule today. That is people missing their doctor's appointments. That's kids late for school. We have 30 minutes behind from Arlington to Everett. That drive at 50 minutes because of this long-term crash we've been dealing with right at the main Marysville exit at 528. The left lane remains blocked there, and then you get through that and you're greeted with an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, which on its own is another 5 to 10 to 12 minutes behind schedule. Northbound I-5, 30-minute delay getting you into South Center and on up into Seattle. It's an hour and a half from Federal Way to Seattle, 50 minutes into South Center. This crash approaching 200th still has 2 right lanes blocked. That puts us at more than 2 hours again to go from Tacoma to Seattle. Way behind schedule. That's at least an hour delay total. Valley Freeway, we've got a 30-minute delay getting out of the Sumner area up through Puyallup, out of Puyallup, up because of that lane restrictions we're dealing with. Probably a 20-minute delay on eastbound 18 from 167 to the Green River Bridge. That's where we have the left lane blocked. Rented to Bellevue at 40 minutes. That's average, so that's not too bad. The lake bridges are still okay, though. Eastbound 90 picking up the slowing across Mercer Island. We have cleared the crash in Parkland. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton. The D.R. Horton National Red Tag Sales event starts Saturday through October 18th. Visit a D.R. Horton community today or drhorton.com, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Well, the weather's not helping the commute. We are seeing some showers in areas. Threat of some thunderstorms for today, but also some sun breaks. Just kind of one of those mixed bag days. 68 the high for today. Thursday and Friday, as we wrap up the week, we'll see some showers, but some sun breaks too. Highs in the upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, it's 56.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
7:36 now, time for this morning's commentary. I really don't think Portland needs federal troops. Shouldn't be needed. But let's stop pretending the small subset of violent protesters out there night after night are somehow the good guys. They're not. I've watched them up close in Seattle. You show up with recording equipment, even a smartphone, and they swarm you. Umbrellas blocking your lens. Multiple people, coordinated, aggressive. They grab your equipment, scream, "You're platforming fascism." For what? Recording on a public street. They make sure you know you are outnumbered, that you should leave, that documenting what they do won't be tolerated. The Northwest brings all types of journalists to these confrontations. Mainstream, TV, radio, newspapers. Plus, there are reporters who can be provocateurs and people trying to build an online brand. Doesn't matter. Antifa attacks them all. But here's what I've noticed. They claim to fight fascism, but watch who they target. Conservative journalists get swarmed. Women get cornered. Look at what they do to Brandy Cruz and Katie Davis-Court. Smaller people get shoved. Older reporters have screaming 20-somethings in their faces. They know exactly who to surround, who to intimidate. For people claiming to fight bullies, they sure act like them. And then there are the neighbors, the people who actually live there. Most of them probably agree with the protesters' politics. This is Portland, after all. But tear gas drifts through their windows. Pepper spray burns their eyes while they're trying to watch TV. Lasers and strobe lights flashing into bedrooms. Kids can't sleep. Parents wake up exhausted the next day. Low-income residents, the elderly, people with no way to just move somewhere else, they are trapped in nightly chaos they did not sign up for. One resident told protesters, "You're worse than ICE." Think about that. People who oppose ICE, who support immigrant rights, who should be your natural allies, are begging you to stop. Not because they disagree with the cause, because they need to sleep, because their kids have school, because they have jobs in the morning. Now, of course, free speech does not have a bedtime. I get that. But here's the reality. Nobody lying awake at 3 a.m. listening to your drums and air horns is thinking, "They've converted me." You're not building a movement. You're building resentment. Night after night, 100 days and counting. The neighborhood has become their stage, and everyone living there is a captive audience who never bought a ticket. Portland doesn't need federal troops. Local police say they can handle this. Good. Handle it. Show us. Because right now it looks like they are afraid to enforce even a noise ordinance because of the politics. Cracking down on demonstrators who are violent and intimidating doesn't somehow mean you are in favor of President Trump's immigration policies. I will say again, protect speech, stop violence, let journalists work, even the reporters with views you don't like. Let the neighbors sleep at night. That's not too much to ask. It's what we used to call normal. And that's the commentary for October 1st. You can always weigh in. Shoot us a note on the text line, 888-973-5476, and you can always leave a comment on mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:39. Chris Sullivan, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we've got multiple roads with 30-minute delays. Southbound I-5 is where I'm going to start next, coming up in a couple of minutes.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM. Powered by MyNorthwest.com.
Contractors and heavy equipment operators, get ready for a big one. The James D. Murphy Company brings you the huge Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, Trucks, and Vehicles online auction. Bidding opens Thursday, October the 2nd at 10 a.m. and starts closing Thursday, October 9th at 10 a.m. On the auction block, 10 excavators, including a 2021 Komatsu PC88MR and a 2018 Komatsu PC238, a 2017 Komatsu WA320-8 wheel loader, a 2003 John Deere 770 OCH motor grader, plus 4 backhoes, 3 reach lifts, and 4 boom lifts. There's 5 dump trucks, including a 2015 Peterbilt 367 Super Solo and 2 Western Star quad-axle roll-off trucks, and much more. Preview all equipment Tuesday, October 7th and Wednesday, October the 8th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our Marysville yard, 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Get all details now at murphyauction.com.
So what'll you have today? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry?
When it comes to picking ice cream, there are lots of choices, and they all look and sound so good. Choosing a Medicare plan is a lot like that. So many options, all sound good. But if you pick a plan that's not right for you, there can be serious consequences. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Open enrollment season is right around the corner, and you're going to be inundated with advertisements encouraging you to choose this Medicare Advantage plan or that one. Maybe the best choice for you is traditional Medicare. To make an informed decision, you need to do your homework. The Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program has a free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit to get you started.
This is Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer. Our Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit has a checklist of 7 easy steps to help you decide which Medicare plan is right for you.
Order your free toolkit today at insurance.wa.gov. That's insurance.wa.gov. Or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center. Then go get an ice cream.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Piri coming this October.
You don't look like police.
I'll take that as a compliment. See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's 7:43 now, and Chris Sullivan is keeping an eye on the roads for us.
All right, we've got multiple 30-minute delays across the board today with the weather and some crashes. I'm going to start up in the north end, where we are backed up basically from Smoky Point all the way down to Marysville, not moving. We're talking 50 minutes plus from Arlington down into Everett. The left lane remains blocked for this crash right at the main Marysville exit at 528 there. That's because I got a better look at this crash now. It's a couple of different cars really tangled up. They're going to have to pull them apart a little bit before they can open up that left lane. So this is a long-term issue. You get a nice long gap all the way down to about Mill Creek, and then you hit the brake lights again, and you've got about an hour and a half from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Northbound I-5 continues to struggle up past 200th because of this crash in the two right lanes there as you're approaching 200th. We've got an hour and a half to an hour and 40 to go from Federal Way to Seattle. That is basically a 35-minute delay for you guys as well. Northbound 167 struggles up through the lane restrictions because of that overheight bridge strike in Pacific. Give yourself about an hour and 15 minutes to make it from to Puyallup, Sumner up into Renton. Eastbound 18 still struggling through Auburn from basically 167 over to the Green River Bridge. Long-term crash in the left lane. Northbound I-5, Tacoma up through Federal Way, bumper to bumper. 35 minutes, 20-minute delay just on that spot. So you're going to have about a 2-hour and 10-minute trip from Tacoma into Seattle. Renton to Bellevue, about 40 minutes. Eastbound I-90, 35 minutes from Seattle over to Bellevue because of expansion joint repair. Whew. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there, emeraldqueen.com.
Take a break. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
All right.
We're going to see some scattered thunderstorms for today. Otherwise, a mix of sun breaks and showers in 68. Tomorrow and Friday, again, mix of sun breaks and showers and highs in the upper 60s. Right now, it's 56 in the city.
7:45 now, and Starbucks is shaking up its menu. Here's KIRO Newsradio's Katrina Gishard.
Starbucks is out with a new line of protein-packed drinks. Starbucks now offers protein cold foams and protein lattes across U.S. and Canadian stores. I checked online, and so far the reviews are good.
This is good. This is better than I expected it to be. I would definitely get this again. This is so good.
The beverages feature protein-boosted milk and cold foam options in flavors like banana, chocolate, matcha, and seasonal pumpkin spice. So, would you give this protein craze a try?
There are just too many options anymore. I just want a plain old coffee. Give me a drip.
And the thing with the
They
protein,
still have those, Amanda. You can still get those.
The thing with the protein is it's the new low carb. It's the new oat brand. It just seems like we go through these cycles, and now it's protein. But,
they did this protein. They tried this like 7 years ago or something while I was working there, and it failed miserably. I think their flavors were like banana and date, and there was some chocolate flavor as well. And so I'll be interested to see how these ones do this time around.
And somebody who's as committed to a bodybuilding routine as me, I need all the protein I can get. Thank you, Katrina. 7:46 now. Coming up, we're going to hear from CBS White House correspondent Nancy Cordes with what to expect as the government shuts down.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974, this is KIRO News Radio.
The federal government shut down at midnight. Congress failed to pass a spending bill. Now hundreds of thousands of workers are waking up to uncertainty this morning.
CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now from Washington, D.C. Nancy, we talk all the time about potential shutdowns, but something happens at the last minute and they pass a stopgap bill. How did we get here?
We got here because neither side was willing to blink. And so there was no behind-the-scenes negotiation. There was no agreement. And so the Senate tried to pass a bill to fund the government for just 50 days, just the next 50 days. And they failed. They needed to get about 8 Democrats. They got 3. And so now, as of midnight, we are officially in a government shutdown. The last time we went through this, back in 2019, during the first Trump term, it lasted for 35 days, right over Christmas. And this time around, as usual, you will have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed because they are deemed non-essential. So they'll stay home. They won't get paid for now. And then you will have others like TSA agents and air traffic controllers and members of the military who will stay on the job but also won't get paid. And as you can imagine, that's a scary situation for a lot of federal workers, some of whom live primarily paycheck to paycheck and might be able to get by for a couple of weeks, but are really worried about how long this is going to go on.
Nancy, the Democrats say this is about the Affordable Care Act. I'm curious, what is that? What do they mean by that? And is this really about health care, or is this political theater ahead of the midterms?
I think there's some of both. There is an issue when it comes to Obamacare, which is that these subsidies that kept premiums low on the exchange are set to expire at the end of the year. And the first letters informing people that their premiums are about to go, in some cases, way up, like up by 75%, are going out this month. So Democrats argued this is an issue that has to be dealt with now. They didn't feel confident that Republicans would be willing to sit down and hash this out and deal with those premiums if they didn't have a sword hanging over their head like a government shutdown. And so they decided to take a stand. But you're right that there is also politics here as well. Democrats have been under a lot of pressure from their base to take a stand against President Trump and the Republicans who run Washington over something. And healthcare is an issue where they believe that the public is on their side. They believe that it helps them to highlight some of the cuts that the Republicans made to Medicaid in the big, beautiful bill. And so they decided to take a stand. Now, it's not unusual for the party that is not in power when the government, the party that is in power has to pass a certain bill to say, okay, well, we'll help you, but here's what we want in exchange. And often there will be a negotiation. In this case, the Republicans in the White House simply said, no, we're not going to negotiate.
All right, Nancy, we'll be watching for your updates. Thank you so much. CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes.
Thank you.
Coming up on 7:53, and Chris Sullivan has traffic for us on the 3s.
Had 2 days in a row with my hands full, like our drivers out there. I wish I could do something for you guys. It's just, when you get to the 30-minute delay category, there's just not a lot you can do, and there isn't, a lot of alternatives. So the positive news for those of you stuck in this 5-mile backup on southbound I-5 getting into Marysville, it looks like they're picking up the cones and opening up the left lane right there where we had this crash at 528. It's 55 minutes to an hour to go from Arlington into Everett. That is a 35 to 40-minute delay over what you might expect, and so that is going to take a long time to clear out. Then you get through that, and you've got about an hour and a half from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, with the brake lights there just not relenting on a typical kind of rainy day. Northbound I-5, we have cleared the crash just before 200th, which is great. We had 2 right lanes blocked there. Still have an hour and 35 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle, with 50 of those minutes up to South Center. That's still a 30-minute delay, so that's not going to clear nicely either. Valley Freeway, bumper to bumper out of Sumner. We've gotten used to that. And then it's also heavy out of Auburn. Give yourself an hour and 15 minutes to go from Puyallup up into Renton. And Renton to Bellevue is running right around 40. Across the lake, westbound, we're seeing some braking on both lake bridges, but it's manageable. Eastbound I-90, though, with a 20-minute delay, 35 minutes from Seattle to Bellevue because of that expansion joint repair work. Still only have 3 out of 4 lanes blocked as you get across Mercer Island, or open across Mercer Island. Northbound I-5 Tacoma to Federal Way still running right around 35 minutes. That's about a 15-minute delay. 18 over Tiger Mountain is filling in. So is westbound 16 through the Sinclair Inlet, getting around the corner in Gorst. So, yeah, it's one of those days. Just plan on being late, relax, we'll get you through it, and tell the boss you'll be a little bit behind, and I'll write you a note. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2.
Well, our forecast, you're going to get wet at times today. Scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, but also some sun breaks. 68 the high for today. For tomorrow and Fridays, we wrap up the week. Scattered showers and sun breaks, upper 60s. As so far, it looks like the weekend will be dry and nice for a little baseball. Right now in Seattle, it's 56.
Coming up in the next hour, we'll have more from our Luke Ducey about how the government shutdown is impacting people here in Washington.
We're also going to hear about tomorrow night's Seattle mayoral debate from one of the moderators. Emily Parkhurst will join us live in the studio at 8:15.
Thanks for being with us today. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Has it been hot in your house this summer? Maybe worried about the cold coming in this fall and into the winter? Might be because your insulation's just not up to snuff. That was my problem, Mike Salk here, and that's why I called Crawl Pros. They came out, they did a corner-to-corner inspection of my crawl space and attic, and they fixed that problem once and for all. If your home has any damaged insulation or no insulation in the attic or crawl space, you're bleeding money every month to heat and cool your home, but you don't have to. And even better, if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%, but you gotta act now. Many of these rebates are ending at the end of this year, including the federal incentives. Let Crawl Pros come out and properly insulate your home before the cooler fall weather comes in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
My name is Jack Lamb. I'm the CEO and owner here at Aslan Brewing Company in beautiful Bellingham, Washington. We're an organic brewery, about 80 employees. I'm a member of AWB because I know that they're advocating for me as a business. One of the greatest benefits of being a member of AWB is AWB's health choice. It's amazing. I mean, it beats all the other competition, all the other quotes I get for my insurance. We look to Health Choice to round out that compensation package to truly make it sustainable for us long term. When we know we have to save a lot of our money to give back to the community, this helps us really inject worth and value into our employees. I feel like I can trust Health Choice because it's backed by AWB and because AWB has always been there for me.
If you're looking for a great health plan for your employees, visit ProPointServices.com. Health Choice Trust is offered through the Association of Washington Business and powered by Primera Blue Cross.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Contractors and heavy equipment operators, get ready for a big one. The James D. Murphy Company brings you the huge Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, Trucks, and Vehicles online auction. Bidding opens Thursday, October the 2nd at 10 a.m. and starts closing Thursday, October 9th at 10 a.m. On the auction block, 10 excavators, including a 2021 Komatsu PC88MR and a 2018 Komatsu PC238, a 2017 Komatsu WA320-8 wheel loader, a 2003 John Deere 770 OCH motor grader, plus 4 backhoes, 3 reach lifts, and 4 boom lifts. There's 5 dump trucks, including a 2015 Peterbilt 367 Super Solo and 2 Western Star quad-axle roll-off trucks, and much more. Preview all equipment Tuesday, October 7th and Wednesday, October the 8th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our Marysville yard, 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Get all details now at murphyauction.com. Leaves are falling, school's back, and the holidays are almost here. You're busy, and you need a bank that won't slow you down. WaFd Bank is here for you with free business checking. You'll have access to online banking with bill pay, mobile deposit, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account with treasury management services as your business grows. Take things to the next level with knowledgeable bankers that understand your business. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
Tired of uneven heating, noisy systems, and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings with every system, and every system qualifies for max tax credits. Call the Comfort People at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. With the federal government shut down for the first time in nearly 7 years, the two sides are talking, but not to each other.
If Senate Democrats or House Democrats or anybody else wants to come to the Oval Office, look, I'll go down to the Capitol right now.
Vice President Vance on CBS Mornings, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer on CNN.
Now that they've seen they can't bludgeon us, they can't roll us, hopefully they're going to sit down and negotiate now, not kick the can down the road.
CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
The plan, at least today, is that we'll see the Senate try to hold another round of votes, although they may just be procedural votes, not actual votes on government funding. Also keep in mind that we expect the Senate to observe the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, which means they may not take any action on the floor.
Breaking news from the Supreme Court. The court will allow Lisa Cook to remain as a Federal Reserve governor for now. President Trump moved to fire her. This morning, new tariffs on imported prescription drugs are taking effect. CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
It does not include generic pharmaceuticals, though. And that's a really important point because the majority of medications and drugs that we as Americans buy are generic brands.
Well, CBS's Jim Krasula tells us Walmart's the latest company to announce a move away from food dyes and some preservatives.
Walmart is planning to remove synthetic dyes and dozens of food additives from its store brands sold in the U.S. by January of 2027. The nation's biggest retailer says the move will include about 1,000 products, including snacks, baked goods, power drinks, salad dressings, and frosting.
On the Health Watch, a new look at long COVID.
The study by the National Institutes of Health's Recover Initiative found after a second infection, people under 21 were more than 3 times as likely as those infected once to develop long COVID symptoms.
Symptoms involving the brain to symptoms involving the heart, symptoms involving the lungs.
Researcher Dr. Alexander Charney says most of the kids had not been vaccinated. Other studies have shown COVID vaccines significantly reduce the risk of long COVID. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In New York City, part of a high-rise apartment building collapsed today in the Bronx.
The whole building you heard a loud boom, and the thing just exploded and it fell down.
No word of any injuries. A gas explosion may have caused it. PEN America finds more than 6,800 books being temporarily or permanently pulled for the 24-25 school year. That's down from 10,000 the year before. Wall Street, the Dow, is up 17 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
Rough morning on the roadways. It's 8:03. Let's check in with Sully.
Yeah, starting with the positive, though, the 2 of our bigger crashes have cleared. It's just going to take a while to get through the 5-mile backups behind them. I'm going to start up in the north end. If you're coming out of Smoky Point in Arlington, you're going to hit the brakes almost right away. Right past Costco. You're going to be on them, and you're going to be on them all the way down into Marysville. Good news is the crash that started all this at 528 is gone, and so the backup is getting better from south to north. We still have about a 50-minute travel time from Arlington into Everett and a 30-minute delay, but it is clearing out. Just give it some time. Nice long freeway speed break until you get down to Linwood, but from there on down, it is just a crush on southbound 405 down through Woodinville and Totem Lake. For 405 I-5, it's through Linwood and Mount Lake Terrace, and then at the south end, hour-and-a-half drives from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Northbound I-5 also picking up the pace a little bit, back under an hour and a half from Federal Way to Seattle. Long-term crash at 200th has also cleared, but we're up to 40 minutes now from Tacoma to Federal Way, plus 20 20 there. Just a heavy volume and a lot of issue trying to get up towards 18. Then you hit the Valley Freeway, which is running at an hour and 15 as well. We've cleared the crash in Auburn, which is great. Also cleared the crash in Parkland, which is great. Eastbound in 90 is still struggling across Mercer Island because of expansion joint repair. That should be done Saturday, so this should be our last couple of days of a commute to deal with that. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Thursday, October 1st, 2025. Welcome to Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Well, the U.S. government is officially shut down. Midnight came and went with no funding deal as Congress and the White House failed to break the deadlock.
Both sides are blaming each other, and the rest of us are left to feel the fallout. With the story, here's KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, we're talking about 750,000 federal workers who are going to be furloughed each and every day. However, for essential workers like the military, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, they have to go to work without pay. If you're flying, here's some advice from SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper.
Our big reminder for travelers is to just think of it like a busy time period as you come to the airport, which is think of those regular things to get here early.
As for our military communities, we have close to 100,000 active duty military and reservists in our state. Army veterans like Alonzo Sermons worry about what happens to all the local businesses that support our military communities like JBLM.
These are real things in the lives of people. You have this affecting their finances. It really increases anxiety.
And federal food programs could also take a hit if this shutdown continues for a long period of time. Here's food bank expert Brian Green.
If it starts to get to the point later in November when the benefits are also not coming in, where people are not receiving SNAP, et cetera, it will be overwhelming.
Some areas not affected. The U.S. Postal Service, you're still going to get your mail each day. Social Security and Medicare benefits will also be sent out. No break in that. And once federal workers do go back to work, who knows when that'll be. The last stoppage like this lasted 34 days in 2018. Well, they will get back pay. Charlie and Manda, keep in mind, both Congress and the president, as they debate back and forth, they're still getting paid during this shutdown.
Okay, thanks for that update, Luke. It's 8:06 now. Text messages reveal a heated exchange between President Trump and Oregon Governor Tina Kotek over sending National Guard troops to Portland.
The Oregonian obtained text showing Trump's assistant relaying the president's message that Portland's ICE facility is attacked nightly and, quote, "we can't have this." Governor Kotek fired back, accusing Trump of breaking his promise to speak with her before deploying troops. Trump responded through his assistant, saying if Oregon gets the state in order, federal forces won't come in. He called Portland an unmitigated disaster for years. 200 National Guard troops are expected in Portland by the end of the week.
The husband of congressional candidate Shama Sawant faces assault charges after allegedly shoving a staffer at a Renton town hall. Como TV obtained police video showing Calvin Priest forcing his way into Congressman Adam Smith's event in August. The 54-year-old allegedly pushed past a 22-year-old staffer who had tried to block him and other protesters. The woman showed police significant bruising on her arm. Congressman Smith told Como the incident traumatized his staffer, saying public servants should not face screaming and physical shoving just for doing their jobs.
Now, Priest cut a deal with prosecutors. They'll drop the charges if he stays out of trouble and likely completes community service. If he violates the agreement, a judge can convict him based on the police report. Como did reach out to Priest and Sawant's campaign, but got no response. Sawant was not there and is not accused of doing anything wrong.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Anyone need any TVs or refrigerators?
No, I'm good.
Okay. What
Thank
about
you,
your
though.
MTV?
No, I haven't watched MTV in years. I'm good without it.
And what's for free, Charlie?
Money.
No, it isn't. Not if you know the lyrics. I'm just trying to get you in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it just came to me.
Yeah, it's money for nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
For free.
It's free, yeah. This is Seattle's Morning News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Was it baby chickens?
Yes,
Perhaps.
baby
Okay.
chickens. That's right.
All right.
Sully is here, stirring it up and checking the roads on the threes.
Just try to keep it light, man. It's
It's a
hard
mess
out
again.
there. The last
Yeah.
couple of days have been rough. Today's even worse. So
It's that fall
trying
weather.
to lighten it up.
Yeah. Nick Gracia is the guy who picks the music and runs a control room. Thanks, Nick. And coming up on this hour of this show, we have Emily Parker stopping by. She will be moderating the debate tomorrow between mayoral candidates Bruce Harrell and Katie Wilson. Emily will have a preview for us.
G. Scott's going to stop by, too. Seattle's minimum wage is set to go up next year, and he has some thoughts on that coming up.
It's 8:09. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office is facing a multi-million-dollar budget cut next year. Sheriff Derek Sanders says if the cuts are implemented, public safety will be impacted. With the story, here's KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders says salaries and benefits make up the largest part of his budget, and if the cuts go through, Sheriff Sanders says he will have no choice but to cut at least 30 deputies.
Those cuts represent another deputy who can't respond to emergencies, another detective who can't handle sex offenses, the amount of manpower we have on homicide cases.
At a packed county council meeting yesterday, commissioners said they had found a way to ease the budget cuts from $4.5 million to now $2.5 million. They told the people attending the meeting they were attempting to reduce the cutbacks even more in the weeks ahead.
School bus drivers in Everett say they are ready to walk off the job if they don't get a new contract. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha spoke with members of their Teamsters union.
They say a strike is a possibility because negotiations with their employer, Durham School Services, have broken down, and the company walked away from bargaining.
If we don't have something that we can take back to our members and get this thing done, it's imminent.
There is no reference on the Everett School site to a potential strike impacting bus service. The drivers say they want compensation and benefits that align with what other districts are giving drivers.
No comment yet from the bus operator.
A woman was rescued from an elevator shaft in Seattle. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
Seattle firefighters thankfully quick to the scene last Friday. They say she fell, wound up pinned between an elevator and the floor in an apartment building. So firefighters were able to get in, take the elevator car apart, and then use a hydraulic spreader to open a gap just large enough to pull her to safety. The woman was hospitalized in serious condition. This happened in the city's Chinatown International District.
A 3-year-old boy found a live grenade in his family's front yard in Grant County Monday night.
The Washington State Patrol bomb squad carefully moved that World War II-era grenade from the family's yard in Heartline to a rural area where they safely disposed of it. It had been exposed to the elements for some time, according to the Grant County Sheriff's Office, but it's not clear exactly how long it had been there or how it got there in the first place. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Heads up if you're driving through Parkland tonight, make that tomorrow night. Crews will be replacing power lines along State Route 512. This is near Portland Avenue. Work starts at midnight, runs until 4 in the morning Friday. State DOT says to expect rolling slowdowns and traffic stops up to 10 minutes in both directions.
Well, Mariners fans can watch their team get ready for the playoffs this afternoon. They're holding a scrimmage at T-Mobile Park. First pitch, 2 o'clock. The team earned a first-round bye, so we just kind of sit back and watch this week. They don't play until Saturday's Division Series opener. To stay sharp during the 5-day break, they're holding 2 of these scrimmages with fans in the stands. Tomorrow starts at 5. They're calling on fans to bring playoff-level noise. They need the crowd to sound like it's a real game to keep those players ready. Tickets are only $10, and the proceeds go to charity.
And if they win this weekend, you can say, I did my part.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Let's get a check on weather now, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Here's KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Pockets of rain this morning that are heavy at times, and it is a little blustery. What we'll find is just on-again, off-again showers throughout the day that could be heavy at times, could find some isolated thunderstorms, although a bit of a lull this morning compared to what we had earlier, which is nice. But yes, you are going to see plenty of showers today, and it will be breezy with highs in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, it is still going to be a showery day, maybe not quite as active as today, but a little blustery and highs in the mid to upper 60s again, with just a few showers, especially late in the day on Friday. There really shouldn't be that much moisture left, and most of the weekend looks dry outside of a little moisture early on Saturday, so we're in pretty good shape there, and we'll have highs in the mid 60s with some decent sunshine and dry to start next week.
Right now we have clouds and 54 in Seattle.
And it's 8:13, time for traffic once again. Chris Sullivan is helping you get through the mess.
And if you can delay your trip a little bit longer out of Arlington down into the Marysville area, you will save yourself a little bit of time. It's just going to take a little bit longer for this to clear out. We had a long-term crash at 528 that really set us behind schedule, and we have about a 45-minute trip now from Arlington down into the Everett area. So we have picked up the pace a little bit, but not by much. That's still about a 25 to 30-minute delay for you guys. Then you have a nice long freeway speed drive till you get down down to about the Linwood split, but from there on down, it is struggling. We've got an hour and a half, basically, from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Our good friend TJ just let me know it looks like we might have a new crash on northbound I-5 as we're working our way past 272nd, getting up into South Center on the right-hand side. The travel time hasn't really come down since we cleared the crash near 200. That's still an hour and a half from Federal Way to Seattle. And you have a 45-minute trip from Tacoma to Federal Way, so that puts us at about a 2-hour and 15-minute drive from Tacoma to Seattle. That is an hour and 15-minute delay overall. Valley Freeway, because of that bridge issue we've been dealing with, we've got about an hour and 15-minute trip for you guys. 45 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way and across the lake. Expansion joint work in Mercer Island continues to dog us, as it will through at least Saturday morning. 35 minutes to go from Seattle to Bellevue, as G would say. Disrespectful. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Someone who's very respectful is Katrina Gashard. And Katrina, it looks like Wheel of Fortune just crowned its biggest winner ever.
Yes, they have. So her name is Christina. She cracked the bonus puzzle and walked away with $1 million in the cash prize.
Living things, that is the category. You'll have 10 seconds to try and solve it. Christina's staring at me. Good luck.
Pack of coyotes.
And there you have it. She's the fourth person ever to earn that $1 million prize. She also won a trip to Montana and Tokyo, plus an additional $35,000 in cash. But before she won the prize, she told the host, Ryan Seacrest, that her boss was in the audience.
What happens if you win $1 million?
I may be putting in my 2 weeks, but we won't tell her that yet.
So, would you keep your job?
I would keep my job.
Yeah, for $1 million. We live in Seattle, Katrina.
Yeah, $1 million doesn't go very far anymore.
So sad. Thanks, guys.
It's 8:16.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, tomorrow at the Cornish College of the Arts, the two candidates running for Seattle mayor, incumbent Bruce Harrell and newcomer Katie Wilson, will face off head-to-head in one of several debates scheduled before the November 4th general election.
Tomorrow night's debate is being hosted by Seattle City Club and will be moderated by Emily Parkhurst. Emily is a longtime Seattle journalist and is the founder and CEO of Formidable, a media and membership organization aimed at high-level women leaders. She joins us now in the KIRO News Radio studio.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. We've already seen a couple of the debates between the two candidates. What strikes you as the biggest differences between them so far?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation tomorrow. The biggest differences so far, I think, are pretty obvious, right? Katie Wilson is a relative newcomer to the political scene here, and I think a lot of voters are really just getting to know her right now. So it's really beneficial to hear her talking to our incumbent, Bruce Harrell, who I think most of us know pretty well at this point. There's definitely some getting to be some animosity between the two candidates. We're starting to see the campaigns come out swinging in a bigger way. And so I anticipate tomorrow will be a pretty pointed discussion.
What I haven't heard about Wilson, I wasn't really even aware of this when we interviewed her a few months ago, is she doesn't have much leadership experience. Like, she has never had a large staff. The income she brings in from the Transit Riders Union, minimal at best. Are you planning on really diving in? How does she plan to lead a large city like Seattle?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a really important question that she needs to answer, and she needs to answer for all of our voters to understand how she's going to lead. You know, the organization that she runs now is about a $200,000 a year organization, and the city's budget is about $8 billion. So that's a pretty big jump. So we will be asking her quite a bit about those kinds of conversations. As the economy is front and center right now, I think, for everyone, and that is going to be central to the discussion tomorrow.
You mentioned that the two candidates are kind of taking the gloves off on specific issues. What are the big ones?
You know, that the economy for sure is a big one, and I think Ms. Wilson's experience in leading and being in charge. The other thing is public safety. You know, there's a lot of concerns about public safety downtown. There's a lot of conversations about, has Harrell done enough to improve public safety downtown and deal with, for instance, what's happening in the Seattle International District. There's a lot of concerns about safety there in particular. And so we'll be talking about that. And, Ms. Wilson has a lot of experience in transit and transportation, and that is also something that's very interesting to voters right now.
We're speaking with Emily Parkhurst. Emily, you spent decades, I think, doing the important work of talking about the business community and Seattle businesses and the economy. When we look at it from that lens, I think you are well suited for a conversation like this tomorrow. What are some of the things that you are thinking of asking in that regard that maybe other moderators wouldn't bring up?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, part of my time at the Puget Sound Business Journal, where I was the publisher, was to know the business community. That was my job. And as a result, I have a lot of contacts in the business community. And I've heard from them that there's a lot of concerns that we could see a backslide. There's already a challenging business environment here in Seattle. It's not easy to do business in Seattle. And there have been some new proposals that make it even more challenging. You're going to see on the ballot a proposal to adjust the B&O tax and increase it for larger businesses and set the cap at $2 million in revenue, which, you know, anybody who has worked in business knows that's not very much money. That's still a lot of small businesses that will be impacted by that change. So there's a lot of businesses here that are fed up. Seattle is now the largest vacancy rate in the country, which means that that's not a good thing. It sounds good. It's not a good thing. It means that all of our buildings are empty downtown. And that's really concerning to the business community. We're seeing outmigration of businesses and hearing from businesses that if they haven't left yet, they're seriously considering it.
You will have a co-moderator, Hannah Kim, tomorrow. What is your overall approach to moderating a debate like this?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's Hannah is an incredibly capable and wonderful journalist that we're lucky to have here in Seattle. So I'm looking forward to co-moderating with her. You know, her experience and her background. She's done a lot of reporting on public safety and a lot of reporting on the city. And so I'm going to lean on her and her expertise in those arenas. And then she's sort of leaning on me and my expertise in the economy and the business community.
I know every so often people can help submit questions to the City Club for inclusion in the debates. Can people still do that, or how can they get involved?
Absolutely. Please go to the City Club's website, and there is a easy way to submit your questions. We're looking at them every moment, and there's been some really fantastic questions. Again, a lot of public safety and economy questions that we're seeing. But if you have an interesting question that you'd like us to consider, we'd love for you to submit it, and we'll absolutely be considering all of the questions that we get in there and trying to work them into the conversation that we have with the candidates.
Is there anything in particular we should know about the format of tomorrow's debate?
Yeah, we're doing it. It's a little bit unique.
Oh, good.
So we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. We've got 3 Seattle business leaders, all women, who are going to come in and ask some questions in addition to Hannah and my questions. These are executives here in Seattle. One is the CEO of Washington STEM, another is the CEO of the YWCA, and another is a business leader here who runs her own podcast. And the point there is to try and get the women of Seattle to ask some questions of our candidates and really raise up women's voices in this conversation, which we don't see enough of, I don't think, in media and honestly in the political sector in particular.
Hey, Manda.
Hey, what?
So here's the thing. Now that Emily is running her own business, she probably wants to maybe publicize it every now and then. I'm thinking,
oh, yeah.
Follow me here. Maybe we should have Emily on more often.
That's a great idea.
I would love that.
Really appreciate your time, Emily. Best of luck tomorrow night. We'll be sure to check that out. It's put on by the Seattle City Club. Emily Parkhurst, thank you.
Thank you both.
Yeah, well, take care. And again, good luck tomorrow night. It's now 8:23. We need to move along and get to traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the 3s, and Chris Sullivan is watching The Drive.
All right, how long is like a really good movie these days? Like an Oppenheimer movie, something like that?
3.
Okay.
Probably 3 hours.
Okay, well, 2.5 hours is what we have from Tacoma to Seattle right now. So I guess you could watch a movie, but I wouldn't recommend it while you're driving. Maybe your passenger can and maybe tell you about it. Yeah, 2.5 hours from Tacoma to Federal Way. It is bumper to bumper.
I'd be grumpy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's an hour and 10-minute delay minimum.
Why would they want to watch a movie instead of listening to the show, Sully?
I'm not sure, but I was just trying to make it compare 2.5 hours to 2.5 hours. I don't know. I haven't seen a movie in 18 years.
Seattle's Morning News, cinematic epic.
Yeah. Yeah, Cecil B. DeMille is on I-5 at this point. We're looking at bumper to bumper from 705 all the way up to Highway 18. It's 50 minutes alone to get you into Federal Way. There's a 30-minute delay. Then we have a stalled semi approaching to north of 272nd, which is blocking 2 right lanes. Hour and 40 minutes just from Federal Way to Seattle. An hour of that from South Center. So the I-5 corridor is not good. Looking at the Valley Freeway, we do have the normal stuff because through that bridge strike area up in Pacific. So we have an hour and 10-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton, and then Renton to Bellevue is running 45 minutes. Getting down from the north end, definitely seeing a lot more of improvement on southbound 5 away from Arlington down to Marysville after that long-term crash we had at 528, back down to about 30 minutes from Arlington to Everett. So getting better. Then you have a nice drive to Linwood, but from there on down, it's ugly. Hour and a half from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. And across the lake, westbound, not terrible. Eastbound 90. 15 minutes behind schedule, 35 minutes to get it to Bellevue because of that expansion joint work. This report brought to you by the KIRO Radio Rundown. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476. Subscribe today to get the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown right to your inbox.
Showers heavy at times today, maybe even a thunderstorm or two. Highs in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, just plain old showers, and highs again in the upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, 54 and cloudy at 8:25.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more on the local impacts of the government shutdown.
And former state AG Rob McKenna breaks down Oregon's lawsuit against the Trump administration. This is Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by MyNorthwest.com.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Imagine homes so well designed and so luxurious, they'll be setting the standard for decades. You're imagining a Mainview home. Now imagine a Mainview home on sale, saving $50,000 to $120,000.
Isn't that what Brett and Amy bought?
Yeah, it's a Mainview, and they saved a bundle.
What are you doing?
Looking at the Mainview website. It's now or never.
What's better than a Mainview home? A Mainview home on sale. Mainview communities across the Puget Sound.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
A men's health moment with Revive Men's Health. Low testosterone doesn't just drain your energy, it can change how you feel about yourself. Revive Men's Health uses advanced lab testing and proven treatments to help guys feel stronger and more confident. Learn more at revivemenshealth.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 8:31. The U.S. government is now officially shut down. The midnight passed with no funding deal in place. Congress and the White House deadlocked and neither side will budge.
So Democrats and Republicans are pointing fingers at each other right now, and everyday Americans are starting to feel the fallout. Here's KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey to break it all down. Luke?
Yeah, let's explain a little bit of that political finger pointing first. This is the first government shutdown since 2018 during Trump's first term. That shutdown lasted some 34 days through Christmas. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats can keep the government open if they just sign a short-term resolution, but he says they will not be bullied.
We are not going to be held hostage for over $1 trillion in new spending on a continuing resolution.
Meanwhile, Democrats want provisions to extend health care in any kind of resolution before they sign anything. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer says Republicans refuse to work, however, in a bipartisan way.
There was no input from Democrats. Not a single line in their bill had input from Democrats. They never consulted us. Thune didn't consult me.
All right, as for the fallout for you and me and for everyone, we're talking about some 750,000 federal workers who are going to be furloughed each and every day. However, essential workers like the military, TSA agents, and air traffic controllers, they have to go to work without pay. If you're flying, SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper says get to the airport early, treat it like it's a busy holiday travel day. The Postal Service is not affected. We're still going to get our mail every day. Social Security and Medicare benefits, those will still be sent out. For our military, though, if they are not getting paid, Army veterans like Alonzo Sermons are worried what that means for the communities around military bases, those local economies like JBLM.
These are real things in the lives of people. You have this affecting their finances. It really increases anxiety.
So a lot of people watching this very closely, Charlie and Amanda, if there is one good piece of advice or news here, I guess, once federal workers do go back to work, who knows when that'll be, they will get back pay.
Okay, Luke, thank you. It's 8:33 now, and it's time to check traffic. Here's Sully.
Hey, Charlie, could you grab something for me?
Yeah, of course.
It's right behind you.
Uh-huh.
It's that white towel.
Ah, okay, this one?
Throwing it in.
We're just, I mean, seriously. It is close to 3 hours.
No.
Sorry. I said, 3 hours from Tacoma to Seattle at this point. Let that sink in.
That's the worst I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes alone from Tacoma to Federal Way. We've had a couple of crashes on I-5, plus we have all the diversion coming over from 167. So it is bumper to bumper from basically 705 all the way up to Federal Way. Then we have this crash involving a semi. It's actually a stalled semi that's blocking the right lane around 272nd. That went with an earlier, longer-term crash a little bit further to the north. It's 2 hours now just from Federal Way to Seattle. So close to 3 hours now to make that drive.
Yesterday, our news director, Frank, he had a 2.5-hour drive in from Tacoma. So
we're
he's
worse
going to
than
be
that
frosty today.
He actually just texted me and said, "Oh, yeah, I'm grumpy."
Okay, well, maybe we'll be having the news meeting in an hour without him. So that's our drive out for the south end. I mean, that's double and plus the normal travel time. Then you have Puyallup to Renton of about an hour and 10, Renton to Bellevue about 45. That makes it sound really easy compared to I-5. Everett to Seattle, Everett to Bellevue, both over an hour and 20. We're looking at the Lake Bridges in the westbound direction, manageable, heavy but manageable. But going the eastbound direction on I-90 because of the expansion joint work on Mercer Island, 35 minutes from Seattle over to Bellevue. So that is UGLY. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Head to the T-Mobile Park for postseason scrimmages. First one's today at 2 o'clock. If you're heading there, you might want to go now. Then tomorrow, 5 p.m. Tickets, $10. Get them at mariners.com/scrimmage.
And our forecast, we are going to see showers and sun breaks throughout the day. Also the threat of a scattered thunderstorm. 68 our high for today. Thursday and Friday, scattered showers and sun breaks and highs in the upper 60s. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
All over the weekend, President Trump authorized the deployment of National Guard troops to the city of Portland to protect ICE agents in the city from what the president called Antifa and other domestic terrorists.
We have, of course, been following this story closely as those troops are scheduled to arrive in Portland tomorrow. Meanwhile, the state of Oregon and the city of Portland filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration in response to the impending National Guard troops arriving in the city.
Lots to talk about here. Joining us now, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna once again. Nice to have you with us. What exactly is this lawsuit claiming, Rob?
Well, the lawsuit is claiming that the president doesn't have the authority to mobilize Oregon National Guard troops and send them into Portland. So he's working with, or his government, his administration is working with the Oregon National Guard to put 200 National Guard troops into Portland around the ICE facility there, which is, about 2 miles from downtown. And similarly, they sent about 100 troops into Memphis. And this all follows on what happened in L.A., which is a much larger number of National Guard troops, and then in Washington, D.C. So in California, a federal judge has already ruled that at least in his district in California, Trump lacks the legal authority to send federal troops in for crime-fighting purposes. And Oregon is, suing on the same theory, basically.
Could President Trump essentially say, so what, even if a judge were to turn this down, say, no, you can't send the troops there?
I suppose so. This brings us back to a question we've talked about before, which is, what do you do? What does anyone do if the president defies a court order? We haven't come to that point yet, so we just don't know. There's a lot of symbolism here. I mean, 200 troops isn't very many. 100 in Memphis, even fewer. It isn't clear what the president thinks he's accomplishing here, except maybe he wants a crime-fighting role, and he thinks this is the way to get it. In his first term, there were riots, and some neighborhoods were burned, and business districts were burned in some cities, and he didn't take this step. I don't, whether he had the legal authority to do so or not is another question, but I've heard speculation that he regrets that he didn't take stronger action at that time. And even though the circumstances in Portland, Memphis, Washington, D.C., L.A. are quite different, maybe he's deciding this time he wants to show that he's really strong on these issues.
What does the city of Portland have to prove in order for this to be successful?
They have to prove that the president, on the one hand, doesn't have the authority to federalize Oregon National Guard troops for this law enforcement purpose. Federalizing National Guard troops is what we're used to in the context of a war. So many National Guard units were federalized and deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. My dad was in a National Guard unit in the early 1950s, and he was federalized and mobilized and sent to Korea to fight on the front lines. That's what we expect. That's the normal course with National Guard troops. But federalizing them and sending them into for law enforcement purposes isn't clearly authorized by law. In fact, it may violate a law called the Posse Comitatus Act, which expressly prohibits the use of troops for law enforcement purposes.
This presumably is going to be heard in a courtroom in the 9th District. Will that preview any judgment in your estimation, Rob?
Well, you'll be able to tell, this will be in the district court in Oregon. You'll be able to hear the judge's questions and the arguments on both sides. And, sometimes the way a judge asks questions or makes statements, you get a clue to how they're going to rule. The fact that Judge Charles Breyer in Southern California already ruled against the administration on this question might also be a preview.
That's former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
If you leave Tacoma right now, it'll take you till about 11:30 to get to Seattle. We'll break it down for you next.
Looking for even more Seahawks content? Then you gotta check out The Reset. Hey, it's G. Scott, and every week, me and my co-host and Seahawks great Brandon Meebane talk Seahawks. We break down the matchups, and we're joined by former Seahawks players.
From Lakewood to Lombardi, Seahawks champion, my main man, Jermaine Kearse.
What up, G? Watch The Reset live on YouTube or subscribe on the Seattle Sports app.
Whatever temperatures this winter brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training and skills, backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new heating system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. Visit BryantNorthwest.com for a dealer near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday. Let's go!
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Rain has finally returned to the Salish Sea, and while that's cooling down the weather, whale sightings are as hot as ever. Naturalists from Puget Sound Express report that the T123, T46B, and T60 families of Biggs orcas have been busy hunting seals this past week, and whale watchers have been thrilled to see the newborn calf in the T46B1 family. Humpback and minke whales are also in abundance, gulping down large quantities of fish before resuming their Pacific Ocean migrations. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of beautiful Port Townsend and Port Angeles on the Olympic Peninsula. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
8:43 now, and we head over to the traffic desk with Sully, and you've got some choice words for drivers.
Yeah, basically, as I teased, if you're leaving Tacoma right now, you won't make it to Seattle until about 11:30. It's back under 3 hours, which is great. But it's still running around 2:45 to make that drive. We've picked up the pace just a little from Tacoma to Federal Way, still bumper to bumper through the Tacoma area up to Highway 18. Looks like we have cleared the stalled semi that was there at 272nd, so that's positive. So we're starting to see the travel time from Federal Way to Seattle come down. Actually came down about 15 minutes. So it's only about an hour and 40, which is still about a 40-minute delay. So overall, you're looking at well over an hour and 10-minute delay getting into Seattle from the Tacoma core. Looking at northbound 167, it's cleared out of Auburn, but we still have that bridge issue to deal with, the lane restrictions through Pacific. About an hour now from Puyallup to Renton, so we've picked up about 10 minutes there. Renton to Bellevue is about 50 minutes, though, so we're losing a little time there. Coming down out of the north end, still some brake lights around Tulalip. We had a long-term crash in Marysville. Travel time only about 10 minutes longer than normal. Freeway speed drive till you get down to Linwood, then it's pretty ugly. We've got about an hour and 10-minute trip just from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue, so that's about 15 minutes slower than normal. And eastbound 90 is 20 minutes behind schedule getting to Bellevue out of Seattle because of that expansion joint work we're dealing with there on Mercer Island. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, which is the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there. EmeraldQueen.com.
People always ask, how do you get up at 2:30 in the morning every day? I say to avoid that.
To avoid a 3-hour drive?
Midnight, for heaven's sakes. All right, scattered thunderstorms for today. Otherwise, a mix of showers and sun breaks. We're headed for a high of 68 today. For tomorrow and Friday, again, mix of showers and sun breaks will be in the upper 60s. And so far, the weekend for baseball and football and soccer looks dry, both Saturday and Sunday. It's 56 in Seattle right now.
Fran Drescher just received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard.
Drescher reflected on her trailblazing career in her speech yesterday.
The things you hear about Hollywood is all true. It's the land of dreams. But staying grounded and authentic is imperative. Keeping old friends with you, close to you, and never forgetting where you came from is essential.
I don't think any voice is as iconic, and you just know who she is. But that moment turned into complete nostalgia for fans. They had cast members from The Nanny come to join her stepdaughter's on the show, and she also celebrated her 68th birthday yesterday.
68?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Katrina. Coming up, G. Scott stops by. Seattle's minimum wage is going up next year, and G wants to weigh in. That's next on KIRO News Radio.
So what'll you have today? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry?
When it comes to picking ice cream, there are lots of choices, and they all look and sound so good. Choosing a Medicare plan is a lot like that. So many options, all sound good. But if you pick a plan that's not right for you, there can be serious consequences. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Open enrollment season is right around the corner, and you're going to be inundated with advertisements encouraging you to choose this Medicare Advantage plan or that one. Maybe the best choice for you is traditional Medicare. To make an informed decision, you need to do your homework. The Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program has a free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit to get you started.
This is Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer. Our Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit has a checklist of 7 easy steps to help you decide which Medicare plan is right for you.
Order your free toolkit today at insurance.wa.gov. That's insurance.wa.gov. Or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center. Then go get an ice cream.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Take your business to the next level in 2025 with help from WaFd Bank. WaFd Bank's business accounts and cash flow tools get you paid in hours, not weeks, so you can grow your business and meet your goals. You need a best bank. Visit wafdbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
And here he is, joining us from the G and Ursula Show and the Reset Podcast. G. Scott is here. Good morning, G.
Hey, good morning. By the way, on the Reset Podcast, we get a chance. There's a brand new episode with an interview with Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's really cool. You want to go to it on YouTube, The Reset with G. Scott. Good morning to you guys. Amanda, how you doing, girl?
I'm great. We had a couple of people on the text line very concerned that you weren't going to make it in on time this morning.
Why? What happened?
Because it's taking 3 hours to get from Tacoma to here.
Nah, me and Sully have made up.
Well, you get up.
Our traffic woes, and unfortunately, I do get up early.
You get up early enough.
But this Sully, every Friday, Sully, you come in and you set us straight for the weekend. Okay,
yeah, I will.
I mean,
going to.
We got to do that. All right, let's talk about minimum wage.
Yeah.
Right now, starting in 2026, the Seattle's minimum wage will go up again from $20.76 from the to $21.30. Now, no, that's not random. That's the city with its wage floor to inflation. So as the cost of living climbs, everything else climbs. Well, paychecks needs to rise too. So there's a 50 cent raise. There's a lot of people who get upset about these things, and to which I really scratch my head at that. You know what I mean? I scratch my head at someone being upset. And so when you're upset about minimum wage going up, are you upset at other people's checks, or are you upset at your own check? Like, for an example, here at work, I've never talked to any of my coworkers that have been in a bad mood, and I say to them, hey, Charlie, what's going on? They gave me a 50-cent raise, and I'm pissed. Like, that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand the selective outrage when it comes to the minimum wage.
Charlie does get pissed when I get a raise, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets really mad.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
But being serious, why it's important, as we all know, gas, we talk about that all the time. We talk about groceries. By the way, can we just talk about groceries? Mm-hmm. The groceries are serious. The price of beef is like, hey, what? Are you serious? All those things going up. It's just crazy. But when I think about this story, every time I think about Seattle and the state of Seattle's minimum wage, or the state of Washington's minimum wage, which is the highest in the country, no doubt about it, I am forced to really remember, and I need to shout out the point that our federal minimum wage is still $7.25. It has been that way since 2009. And so somebody says, well, that's no big deal, because what about the states? There are 20 states that abide by the $7.25 rule. That's archaic. $7.50? I mean, back then, that if you had $7.50, that's like $10 today. So the fact that it hasn't raised is crazy.
So $20 extra a week if you're working full-time. I still don't think that's going to cover a lot, considering how much more everything is costing. You have talked about the universal basic income before. You still in favor of that?
Yes. 1,000,000%. And the reason why I'm in favor of it, and would I take less money so that other people can be able to? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And the reason why is because this is ridiculous right now. You have a bunch of grown men and women and people here in the city of Seattle working full-time jobs, 40 hours a week, and you ask them, hey, well, are you going to buy a home? No, they can't. They can't buy a home. As a matter of fact, right now, they just came out with a study that right now in this area, the Pacific Northwest, 1 in 6 people just give up on wanting to buy a home. They're just done. So it's ridiculous. So yes, I would. But again, these are things that are frowned upon. As far as the federal minimum wage, $7.25, it has been attempted to be raised a bunch of times, and it continues to fail.
What was your last minimum wage job?
I know. So, Charlie, this is my first job. My other jobs was doing car washing and door-to-door sales. I never had a paycheck until I got here.
I worked at Little Caesars.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Pizza?
in high school. Yeah. And I had this voice at age 16.
Yeah.
And I would always answer the phone. So thanks for calling Little Caesars. Would you like to try our pepperoni special? And people would think it was a recording.
Really?
Sounded like that. Minimum wage, though.
That was a few years ago.
Just a few.
Hey, one day in the future,
yeah,
I want you to ask me about the time that we ordered pizza one night in Chicago.
Noted.
There's a tease for you. All right, G and Ursula, 9 to noon here on KIRO News Radio.
Sully, traffic.
Well, we're back down to 2 hours and 15 minutes now from Tacoma to Federal Way. So we picked up the pace pretty significantly over the last little bit. Now that we've cleared the crashes, some of the volume has gone through. Still 45 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way. That's 30 minutes behind schedule. But then an hour and 30 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle has picked up the pace just a little bit. So we're getting there. Valley Freeway, only 20 minutes out of Auburn and an hour from Puyallup. Rented to Bellevue's at 45. Looking at the drive out of the north end, still hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. It's 35 minutes across I-90, no matter which way you're going. So that's behind schedule by about 20 minutes. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Showers, sun breaks, threat of a thunderstorm for today. We're headed for a high of 68. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
Coming up, a special reunion between the Mariners fan who caught Cal's 60th home run and the kid he gave the ball to. You don't want to miss that on the G and Ursula Show coming up here on KIRO News Radio.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Your best source for local news, KIRO News Radio.